SHA Wellness, with a leading proposition in luxury wellness and a global footprint, is the result of a profound personal experience. After years of medical issues and facing a troubling diagnosis, its founder managed to recover his health thanks to integrative medicine, particularly healthy and healing nutrition, and SHA was born. Today we're here to talk to Alejandro Bataller. Alejandro, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, my first question is, who's that founder and who are you? Can you just describe that?
That founder is my father. Basically, I had the honor, together with my brother, to be supporting him from the very beginning of this fascinating journey of creating SHA.
And it was started when?
You know, my father got a warring diagnosis in 2002. He was able, as you said, to transform his health, which was very eye-opening for all of us on a time that well-being wasn't as popular as it is nowadays. And while none of the family members were physicians, we started to have this growing feeling of why the system is so focused on sick care and is waiting for the individual not only to be sick, but to show symptoms, to act. And even when it's acting at that time, that it's already a bit late, it's focused only on the symptomatology and it's not focusing on the roots of the problem to avoid it to happen again. So we started to understand it as a mission, as a signal that say we should do something to change this. Why not creating a place that is really focused on healthcare and not on sick care, focusing on optimizing the health of our visitors. So we started to create SHA in 2004, 2 years later of my father's journey. And we opened it officially in 2008. So it's been nearly 18 years operating SHA as a brand.
With that first destination in Spain. And I want to come to SHA and obviously lots around wellness and the business and that side of it and where you are in destinations across the globe. But just firstly, how old were you in 2004, 2008? And what drew you into working with your father and your family on this? Because you could have done anything at that age, I guess.
Well, actually, I just finished my career and I started working in London.
Yep.
And then I moved back to Madrid. I was working in fashion. And I perfectly remember the day my father called me saying, look, I think we need to do something related with this.
So that's a call. If I got that from my father, I couldn't think of anything worse. I couldn't work with my father. So
well, I was
yes.
really worried, I have to say. I thought my father got completely crazy.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I thought it was fascinating. And I have to say it was a tough beginning because we had no experience. We opened in an area of Spain that is beautiful, surrounded by nature with amazing climatology, but it wasn't known as a luxury or well-being destination. And then we opened in the beginning of the global crisis of 2008.
Yes.
So it was like learning to swim in a tsunami, no? But I would say that the fact we made it through is that we never saw it as a business project. We always saw it as a mission.
Yeah.
And I would say that when you have the right purpose in life, the passion, the perseverance that you put into it always helps you to get through it.
Now you're such a bigger business. Does that passion and that purpose and that mission, does that remain in the same way that it was in 2004, 8?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. No. For us, it's our lifestyle. We really believe in creating a healthier world. We are super fascinated. And, it's not only on my professional time, let's say this way, on my personal time. I'm always reading about this. Any documentaries, when I watch TV, sometimes my wife tells me, can you watch anything that is not related with this, please?
Oh, I see. So you are obsessed.
I am kind of obsessed. Yes.
And just quickly before we talk about SHA, I suppose for the audience, people listening, it'd be great to just get your views on what is wellness in the luxury sphere, in the luxury space. And there's lots of terms running around. Even wellness itself is a confusing term to some people because it's used so often. Longevity is used by many people. How do you define for want of a better word, wellness in the luxury environment?
Well, I will say that it's true that wellness is going through kind of a identity crisis.
Yeah.
No? Wellness has become perhaps too general as a word, and it represents everything, but at the same time, it's not descriptive enough with what is happening nowadays. But at the end of the day, well-being is talking about beyond optimal health. No, when you understand health not only as not being ill, you understand health as vitality, optimal cognitive capacity, good quality of sleep, being able really to enjoy your best version. And yes, we are seeing more and more the message directed to longevity, to health span. At the end of the day, they're all talking about the same, and they're talking about quality and not so much about quantity. If we look back to understand why this has become the main wealth, what has become so popular, we need to analyze that in the last 7 decades, we've been able to grow in 50% our life expectancy. So right now, the problem is not so much about quantity. If you think that in 1950, life expectancy was around 46, 48 years old, and now we are talking between 75 to 85, depending the country. The problem is we are right now, society is investing 1/3 part of their lives on illness or in poor health. So that's what made us think from every time an earlier age to be concerned about achieving optimal health, which we haven't been able to see a clear response from a traditional medical system. And if you were talking 10 years ago to an individual about longevity, an individual under 40s, under 50 will say, what are you talking to me about this? Because they were thinking it's something that I need to worry in few decades. And they were thinking that it was more about earning more years of life. It was about quantity. And on the same time, people were thinking that it were years of low quality, instead of people think that with 75, 80 years old, they're not going to be able to enjoy life, to travel, to do whatever they like to do. Now we see it is possible. It is possible that 100 are the new 60s, that you're able to arrive to that age, practicing sport, enjoying time with friends, traveling. So now you're seeing people under 30s, under 40s that are paying attention because they see it's not something that you do now to see the response in few decades. It's something that you do now and you can see the response tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. So that's really clear. So it's not just, as you said brilliantly at the beginning, this idea of preventative health and being before stuff begins to happen. It's also this idea of not like our health systems are done, of pointing at metrics of just because everyone lives till 80 or 75, that's a good thing. It's the quality of life within it.
I would say more than preventative. I like the word proactive, because preventative, you are thinking always on staying ahead of illness, preventive illness. No, the point is, usually most of the illnesses that we are suffering nowadays, from cancer, diabetes, heart disease, metabolic disorders, 70-80% are related with lifestyle. So they're avoidable, they're preventable. The point is, usually this illness takes 10, 15, 20 years to appear. They don't come from one day to another.
Yeah.
If you go and you make a medical checkup, a traditional medical checkup on a conventional medical institution, you may not see any signs of that. But if you're able really to focus on a proactive diagnosis, when you are not only looking for illness, you're looking for imbalances in your organism, then you are able to detect that on the beginning of that journey. When you started to see that your cortisol levels are elevated, that your body composition is not ideal, that your bioenergetic levels are not optimal, you have a hormonal imbalance. So you are started to stay ahead of that curve and see it on the very beginning, not wait to see some signs of alarm.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. That's really interesting. So SHA is very much at the cutting edge of wellness from that perspective of bringing science and bringing a new dimension to, I guess, preemptive diagnosis and these more subtle things you're talking about that might be indicators of things that will happen in 20 years' time that you can correct now. What is the SHA method? How are you cutting edge? And how did you come to discover this stuff? A father and a son, or a family in 2008 who weren't necessarily doctors in these fields. How did this all happen? What is it? What's the SHA method?
Well, how we have arrived to this point of leading the industry is through passion. We come back again to the right purpose, to passion. So we've created a scientific committee, and while I'm not a physician, I've been leading physicians for nearly 2 decades and attending to every longevity medical conference. Same my brother or my father. So we are always very up to date, and we always try to our value proposition and our brand promise to our guests is to make sure that we always offer to them the latest, the more effective, the most proven. No?
So you're sort of talent scouts for the best talent in the world,
That's correct, and for the latest technology and for the latest procedure. I will say that the foundation, when people ask me, SHA, we have around 1,000 treatments.
Yeah.
We are probably the most comprehensive method to achieve and maintain optimal health. You have some brands who have decided to specialize into fasting, into detox, into anti-age. In the case of SHA, our goal has been to be able to create an offer all across that can help any individual to achieve their best version, whatever is it that you need to get there. And the challenge is how to hyper-personalize it. So when people ask me from that 1,000 treatments that we have at SHA, what is the most effective, I always answer the same. And the foundation, it's lifestyle. And I will say we have the risk nowadays of being tempted by the quick fixes, which are great, but the foundation is lifestyle. So by order, we are talking about sleep, nutrition, movement, and emotional well-being. Having a purpose, having a healthy level of stress, feeling love, loving others, feeling part of a community. Those are the pillars. And you are seeing on the blue zones how people who have no access to the latest longevity protocols, they're living healthier and vital and longer. Then the next will be proactive health diagnosis, how to have the information. Until a few years back, you need to beg a doctor in order to get a proper analysis and to get this information. Now people has the power back. And for a very reasonable cost, you can have information through top health wearable devices. Now we've partnered with Boop. Full biomarkers. In SHA, we are capable of measuring around 1,000 biomarkers during your stay. So imagine how valuable, detailed information you can have, not only about preventing illnesses, about opportunities of optimizing your health. And seeing it when you have the first medical consultation, you're already seeing on a screen your biomarkers and what are the opportunities to improve your health. So this has moved from well-being being kind of sensorial and experiential to be results-driven, data-driven, scientific, focusing biomarkers. And that has been able to attract also a different audience. People who were not thinking on well-being 10 or 20 years ago, and now they're pretty obsessed about well-being.
Yes.
Then once you have this, what you need is functional precision medicine, medicine 4.0. And yes, you are seeing some create proactive health diagnosis companies, but if you have the information, but you don't have the expert to guide you and to help you navigate, that's a problem. People is putting their results on ChatGPT, or they're going to a doctor who is not specialized in longevity medicine, who've never seen that much biomarkers on their life, and they don't know, they may not know what to do with this. So having the right experts, which are difficult always to achieve and to recruit. And then you get into the quick fixes, which we are talking about science-backed longevity protocols, which are always conditioned by regulations of different regions. So we are talking about stem cells, autologous or mesenchymal stem cells. We're talking about peptides that are very regulated in Europe, but in Americas, it's easier to use them. We're talking about IV therapies, which are so trendy nowadays, but they need to be adapted. People are using it before having a proper diagnosis and before having a blood test. We're talking about nutritional supplements, which is pretty much the same. People are adding more and more supplements before knowing exactly what is it that they need. And the ideal is not to take the same supplements during all time. We need different things in different moments of the year. NAD, very popular, ozone therapy, and many other areas, transcranial cognitive stimulation, skin thermostatic treatments, biohacking techniques, hyperbaric chamber, hypoxia, hyperoxia, ice baths, many things that we can do. But again, all this, it only works if you are on the same time doing the foundation, which is lifestyle. If you don't have a proper lifestyle and you only focus on the quick fixes, it's not sustainable.
Yeah. So you have this foundational kind of pillar-based holistic approach to health. You're not saying it's one thing, it's a combination, but then you're using science and expertise and personalization in a very, very focused way to provide results. And I suppose there's the wellness in inverted commas industry, or luxury wellness. There's a load of, it segments into so many different places, doesn't it? There's sort of places that treat, there's places that would claim to prevent, there's places that are very kind of spiritual, there's places that are also very scientific. You're blending the two. I suppose perhaps what's more interesting, what's the SHA destination like compared to some other places around the world that might claim to do what you do at the top level?
That's a very good question. This is a sector that is pretty new. It's not regulated. And I will say the biggest competition, it's always noise. You receive so many messages as an individual about well-being, about longevity, many brands to claim to have the solution for it. I will say what makes SHA unique, of course, first are the credentials, the track record for having been for 2 decades leading the industry, the purpose behind, which is key. And I have to say that I really believe that what makes institutions different is not so much what you do or how you do it, but why you do it, the purpose, because that influences greatly on why you do, how you do it.
Yes.
And I think that has been really something that made SHA different from the very beginning. It's probably one of the very few global wellness brands that is still owned and operated by a family.
Right.
And as I say before, the fact that it's as comprehensive, I don't think you will find nowadays any wellness brand that is so comprehensive, being able to offer you an all-in-one solution for longevity, to extend your health span, to unlock your performance from the foundation, lifestyle management, on a very attractive way. SHA is not about suffering, it's not about starving. Our goal is pretty much the opposite, is that you feel tempted to make changes in your lifestyle. We don't want that you come and you say, I want to lose 4 kilos, and we starve you for a week, but you are dreaming to go back home to eat the opposite and to go out. We want the opposite. We want to prove you that it's perfectly compatible to enjoy life, to enjoy a beautiful lifestyle, to eat nice food, well presented, and at the same time to achieve your health goals and to feel vital. So lifestyle, proactive health diagnosis, science-backed longevity protocols, functional precision medicine, biohacking. I don't think there is nowadays a brand that is able to tick all those boxes, and then combine with that level of soulful hospitality, with that level of environment, of facilities.
That's why it's great to talk about that, because obviously from my perspective, Match-Reform, we work a lot in luxury hospitality, and there's a lot of obviously if there's something really wrong with you, you need to get corrective medical treatments or procedures. You go to somewhere, rehab or whatever. We're not talking about that, but there's still a lot of places in what you do that are a bit austere, a bit non-welcoming. And like you say, it's not the best platform to go and deal with stuff in a positive manner. What I suppose extraordinary about you is that you have blended into luxury hospitality quite a lot in a way that is also quite cutting edge.
I would say we've been definitely the first ones to do that. And now many brands have updated ourselves, but we always try to stay ahead of the game. Now, what we've launched now in Mexico, I think it represents that merge as no other property does. No, imagine being on a Caribbean beach in Yucatan, in front of one of the biggest coral reefs in the world, with half-kilometer of white sandy beach, and to have all that method, all that technology, all that expertise, is having the best of both worlds. No, so our vision is, if you are not ill, you're well, and you're investing your leisure time with us, why it should be about suffering? We want the opposite. No, we want you to make sure we value your time, and we don't want you to have to choose between going to a luxury holiday or going to a health retreat. We want to offer both on the same time. No, and that has been a goal from the beginning, but now with SHA Mexico, I believe we've taken it to a whole new level.
Which is also a good business model because it makes people come back again and again. I've spoken to people, I'm so surprised at the number of times they've been back to SHA. And there's obviously a reason, it's fun. It's something they look forward to.
Yeah, over 50% of our guests are repeat guests. We have people who have stayed around 100 times in SHA.
100 times?
In these 18 years, yes. We have people who comes every 3 months. No? And more and more, we don't see ourselves only as a destination. We see ourselves as a longevity partner, a longevity lifelong partner. And we are focusing more and more our services, our approach into that direction. We don't want only to support you when you come to visit us. We want to support you all year round. So we've integrated with health wearable devices. We are launching a membership. We've developed nutritional supplements, and we are moving more and more in that direction of how we can continue supporting you to be this turning point in your life, but then to continue to help you. Health is a journey. So our goal is to be your companion in that journey.
Yeah. And does it get into the experience of being there in a bit? But I wonder, does Mexico differ somewhat from Spain, and will that differ from Mexico, or is it at the core
That's a good question.
Similar experience?
Yeah, I will say that we've worked to have nearly 90% of the offer of the health programs, of the technology available in all our properties.
Yeah.
But at the same time, first, we look to have this sense of place and to take advantage of the local nutritional ingredients, which is part of our nutritional model, to focus on what nature offers us in the proximity and the seasonality where we are. So you really will see some difference there. Mm-hmm. Then to take advantage of the local knowledge. In the case of Mexico, we have introduced some Mayan therapies, some great holistic knowledge that is from the region, like Temazcal, for example. And then we are also conditioned by regulations. No, for example, in Mexico, we've gone the extra mile in terms of stem cells, which are in Europe and US, you cannot use mesenchymal stem cells. And Mexico is one of the very few countries in the world where you can use them, are allowed, but it's also regulated by the government, which makes it more safe in terms of traceability of those stem cells. In the use of peptides that are also very regulated in Europe. So we take advantage of how far we can go depending the market. No?
And I suppose there would be a lot of that which could bleed into the Middle Eastern Arabian experience as well. I'm interested, just perhaps for you to paint, there surely is no typical day in a SHA clinic by definition because of all the stuff going on, but could you just paint a day for someone spent with you? What might happen in that day?
A day at SHA?
Yeah.
SHA can be as intensive or as relaxing as you want. Mm-hmm. The point is, the main drive for our guests usually is to maximize their results. Most of our guests, what they want is how I can obtain the best possible results on the 7, 8, 10 days that I'm going to be in the property. So the first day is very focused. It's slightly different because it's more focused on diagnosis.
Yep.
So you have this state-of-the-art preventative health lab, a diagnosis circuit where we have integrated different technologies. You have different consultation with the longevity doctor, with the nutritionist, with the regenerative medicine doctor, with the bioenergetic medicine expert. So it's more about personalizing your stay. But then going to a normal day, people will start with the sunrise. In Mexico, they will probably start with water sports, with yoga, meditation on the beach, with paddleboard, enjoying natural red light therapy on the Caribbean Sea. Then after some exercise, head into breakfast. Then during the day, you have a combination of one-to-one sessions with top experts, personalized treatments, some more therapeutic, some more beauty-oriented, personalized training. You have, I don't know, anything. We have around 20, 25 personal trainers on each property. We have virtual reality training. We have outdoor training. So you have really a big variety.
Are you allowed a glass of wine?
That's a good question. Do you make it on a personal level?
Well, I was going to ask that at the end as well.
Yes. We have 3 different nutritional levels.
Yeah.
So everything depends. At the end of the day, you are the one who decides. No?
So you're not banning. You're not particularly banning anything.
No, it's not. We're not banning. We're not banning. But if you are there to achieve, to detox yourself, to lose few kilos, to improve your health span, it may not make sense that on that particular week you drink alcohol.
Drink a bottle of red wine. Yeah.
But if you're going there as a companion, or if you're going there more for general well-being, for exercise, and you want to have a glass of biodynamic organic wine on the evening, you are allowed to have it. No, we don't want you to feel that you're on a jail. We want the opposite. No, we want you to enjoy your time there. And if you want to have a glass of wine, you can have it. But that's something that you usually decide on the beginning. When you have the nutritional consultation, you say, these are my goals for your stay. And our responsibility is to help you to achieve your goals. Mm-hmm. If then you change your mind during the week, that's where the problem comes. Because if you tell us that you want to lose few kilos and you want to detox, and 2 days later you tell us you want to drink wine, then we need to readjust.
Yeah, fair enough. And in terms of your typical guest, I think I read somewhere that the average age is around 47. And most of them would, I suppose, be defined as sort of leaders in the industry, or have you defined that? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. SHA is probably the brand who has been able to attract a younger crowd, a younger audience. Mm-hmm. And we've seen as well the evolution on this.
I suppose that's a good point. 47 would be considered young, obviously, within the industry.
You and me were super young, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, when we started, it was mostly women.
Yeah.
70-30. We were seeing probably in SHA, our average was probably 10 years older of what we see now. But if you were going to another properties, you will see much older crowds. Mm-hmm. And we've seen how it's been rejuvenating, how it's been balancing between men and women. Now we are probably 45% men, 55% women. Wow. And it's kind of surprising when you arrive to SHA and you see most of the guests are pretty good looking.
Yep.
And you say, what is these people doing here? And it's people that are, as I said before, they're well, but they want to remain well and they want to be better. Mm-hmm. So usually it's people that are looking for evolution in many aspects of their life. They're looking for growth. They're self-demanding with themselves. And usually those are characteristics of a leader. I think that health and leadership are more and more united. No, health, it shows that you have the skills to be a leader because you have responsibility, you have self-discipline, you have a vision. No, so it's interesting the mix that you see at SHA from different people from different industries, creators, entrepreneurs, people from fashion, athletes, very different crowds with similar values of evolution, of growing in the journey of life.
Yeah. And the motivations for them to do this, I think it's very understandable, this idea of health span and quality, not quantity. But one thing I was interested, we've been doing this podcast for for a few years now, and we always ask people at the end. I'll ask you what what most concerns you about this world. It used to be all around the environment. Now, almost universally, people talk about technology and phones and this world we live in relationship to technology. Is that something that, because I think people understand nutrition these days, or at least they understand the effect of bad nutrition, but do you find that people are coming in with these concerns over, I guess, cognitive problems related to technology? Is that a big thing?
Well, first, you say that you think that people understand about nutrition. I think
what I meant by that was they probably understand the causal effects. I'm not sure they know what to do about it, but it's been a theme for a few years at least.
I would say there has been an evolution.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, if you look at global statistics, processed food and ultra-processed food represents 65% of world's diet.
Yeah.
And we're talking about an industry that didn't exist 70 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's related with refined sugar consumption, conservatives, etc.
Yeah.
So if you ask me if the world is getting healthier or no, I think we have a small percentage of the society who had access to the information, and they're every time more knowledgeable, and they're taking care of themselves. And the responsibility that we have, those that we are leading the industry, is how we can make this knowledge wider,
and
how we can impact a bigger percentage of the society.
Yeah.
Considering that we are a small company, I think we do have that mission, and I would love to in the next stage ahead to be able personally to invest even more time on that. Regarding the impact of technology, the impact of emotional well-being, the impact of loneliness, the impact of living every time in a more competitive world with higher levels of stress, higher levels of cortisol. I think that it's a key component when we go back to the foundation. A key component of a healthy individual, it's emotional well-being, is connection, is communication, is human touch, is love, and everything that can block between that is something that we need to put aside. We need to drive a line or where technology can add value, and there is so many aspects where it can add value, but we're seeing nowadays, for example, with artificial intelligence, where people are writing emails using artificial intelligence, and the other people is reading the emails and getting a resume with artificial intelligence. So we are missing this fact of human communication. We're expressing each other, our feelings, our sensations.
Yeah, that's understood. A quick question also, because I don't want to gloss over the staff, the experts who work with you, from a personal trainer to obviously highly qualified physicians or doctors or medical practitioners. How do you recruit and retain them? Why would they work at SHA?
That's a good question. They're difficult to recruit. The fact of having such a global recognition as a brand, it makes it much easier nowadays than many years ago. So we get approached by many, and we are always considering different positions in the company. I think the type of people who are really passionate about this, they work as well for a purpose. And when they see a company, an institution that have the same purpose, because nowadays you are seeing big investment funds, you are seeing many business people that say, wow, wellness looks like a big thing, we should invest in wellness. But usually the therapists, the doctors, the nutritionists, the holistic practitioners that are into this world, they want to work for an institution that does it for the right purpose. And we've seen the examples of great brands who have been acquired by a big investment group, and many of these staff members who were there for a purpose decided to step away. So I would say that, again, being there for the right purpose attracts the right people.
And helpful that you're in 2, soon to be 3 absolutely fabulous locations, but good places to live as well.
That helps as well.
Yes. I think we've covered, just as a final question on kind of trends or SHA, we've covered the trends by the nature of this conversation, but I did wonder, where is it that you can innovate further? Can you say at this point where SHA can innovate and go in terms of the proposition, the medical side of it or the health side of it?
We just launched an innovation that I think is gonna make a big difference. No, until now we had 5 health programs that were answering probably to 80% of the demand from our guests,
Yep.
from longevity, prevention, optimal weight, detox, leaders performance. But we always receive these special cases of people who had very specific needs. And perhaps, they were not finding really what they were looking for because it was very specific. And we've been able to develop what we call a tailor-made program using, I'm very respectful with the term artificial intelligence. I prefer to call it smart algorithms, while many people may call it artificial intelligence, but basically it's taking advantage of the information of these nearly 2 decades, having seen the impact for different health needs to all our different treatments, and being able to ask you different questions about your lifestyle, about your health goals, about your characteristic health issues you have in the past, and being able to create a tailor-made program for you prior to your arrival. So this is having a tremendous response by the market. No? And then I'll see the innovation ahead on what we touched before, which is being that lifelong longevity partner, being able to support people all year round, connecting all the different pieces of the puzzle, also when you are not on the property. Integrating, as we're doing, health wearable devices, proactive health diagnosis with a longevity team at your disposal, with the right nutritional supplementation. So being able really to integrate all that pieces of the puzzle. And then to continue moving forward on hyper-personalization, which is what is missed on the conventional American system, that it's being super reactive, it's not being efficient. So our aim as a brand is to offer that hyper-personalization, to invest enough time on you to get to know really what are your necessities, your needs, and to help you navigate this world of longevity and unlocking your full potential and your health span.
Yeah, and presumably in hyper-personalization and health in general, you are beneficiaries of the advances in science and technology that happen anyway. So you're in step with that. Alejandro, thank you. That was an amazing, our time's coming to an end. That was an amazing overview of SHA and the sector and your proposition. I did just have some questions for you, some quick ones. A couple which have just come to me in this conversation. The first is, yes, do you live the perfect healthy life? It's quite stressful running a business. Do you drink? Are you the perfect example of someone maximizing health span?
I totally believe in this, and I definitely apply it to my life. But I think living a healthy life needs to be balanced. No?
Yeah.
We had a very interesting expert working for us many years ago who teach me. When I started in this world, I took it perhaps to an extreme. No? And it conditions you socially, it conditions you when traveling, when eating outside. So I think the key here is to have the knowledge. The main problem is not having the knowledge. When you have the knowledge is power. Knowledge allows you to make the best decision. You improve the relation with your body, with yourself. Alarms work. So, for example, if you go to nutrition, the perfect rule is 80-20 for an individual that is healthy, that is in its optimal weight, in its optimal body composition. It's like being on a highway. You go usually on one track, but you have the possibility, if you feel like one day, to go outside and to try something. It will be worse to be always, no, I cannot have this because it's not a deal. No, so it's about having that flexibility and having that knowledge to see what to choose at that moment. No, I will say in terms of meditation, in terms of exercise, in terms of nutrition, definitely I follow what we preach at SHA. The most difficult part, always the most challenging part as an entrepreneur, will be the stress and the sleep, especially when traveling. But I'm always very focused to continue improving my statistics on that front. No, and it's everything about lifestyle again. There is no miracle solutions. There are things that can help, but it's basically about lifestyle.
So you're a work in progress, but a pretty good one. You're an 80-20.
Yes, I'm an 80-20. Yes.
And while speaking, my mind did just go to the. You're going to have to remind me of his name. The guy in America who's living the embodied experiment of
Brian Johnson.
Yeah, come on, give us your view on that.
I had the pleasure of meeting him last week, actually.
Last week?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, people will be fascinated.
And I have to say, I was surprised because I had this image of him being super obsessed, even more obsessed than I am. Being super obsessed about not aging, about taking so many nutritional supplementations, about doing every single treatment. And my view is, as I mentioned before, that the foundation is lifestyle. But I was surprised. He spoke at a beautiful event, Brilliant Minds in Stockholm, and his focus was mainly about lifestyle. He focused pretty much on sleep as being the most powerful, which is something that I'm very aligned.
Yeah.
So the point here is when you get a supplement, when you get a vitamin from the outside, the message that your body receives is, okay, I can lower the production of this because I'm going to receive it from outside. So this is the backside of all this. No, so the key is for an individual that is able to tick all the boxes in terms of lifestyle, you don't need much from outside. The problem is it's very challenging, as we are just speaking about, for a business person who is traveling, who is stressed, who is always on the road, to tick all the boxes. No, so in there, it's good to take advantage of what science can offer us, but always needs to be very personalized and not permanent.
Okay? Got you.
I need to take this during certain times of the year. So I don't know that much. I tell you about what I can see from the outside, as many of us can see. I think taking too many vitamins or supplements on a continuous basis is not ideal for our body, because our body can get lazy on producing exactly all that. No? But hopefully it's not what he's doing, and he's personalizing definitely during the time. He has access to so many information, so I'm sure he's doing it that way.
Yeah, and it's a gift to the rest of us. His experiment is surely a gift to the rest of us, because we'll learn something.
Yeah. I think it's part of his mission. No, he really. My sensation when I met him last week is he really wants to create a healthier world.
It's genuine,
and he defined himself as the healthiest and the most tested individual. So it is a gift, but he has such a great vision of what it works or what it doesn't work.
Yes, I got you. The final 4 questions we ask everyone. The first one is, what would you most like to change about your industry, or what kind of annoys you about your industry?
I would say the industry, it needs, as many industry, more regulation. No,
it's extraordinary that it's not regulated. People must be listening thinking it's extraordinary it's not regulated.
But it happens in food industry, it happens in
many things,
tobacco industry.
AI.
In AI, we see a lot of overselling that it's always kind of frustrating. No?
Yeah.
So that's something that I would love to change. And then something that I would love to change is what I said before. I think we need to find a way to be able to impact a bigger percentage of the world society.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the idea that well-being or proactive health should be reserved only for a small percentage of lucky ones.
For you, what's the most concerning thing about this world now and what we're leaving the next generation?
I would say it's probably the impact of technology.
Yeah.
Point number 1, no? Especially in the younger generations, in terms of addiction, instead of getting used to quick stuff, always having what you ask for. And I would say it's also about the capacity of sacrifice. It's very difficult to educate resilience, effort, sacrifice in the middle of comfort, which is what we are offering to generations behind us.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're not allowed to work in this job. From tomorrow, you have to do something else. What would you do?
Oof, that's a very difficult one.
Did you go back to fashion?
No, no. I wouldn't see myself working in the industry that is not focused on generating a significant and positive impact on the world. So I really love what I do. I don't see it as working anymore. It's hard. It's a lot of traveling. It's many hours, but I do it as a mission. I don't see it as a work. So I would definitely try to look for something related to health. If not, I will focus on on a social mission probably.
Got you. And the last question, on a 5-year horizon, what's the most exciting thing for you?
On the 5 years horizon, well, as I said in the beginning, I think that we've seen the longevity industry evolving in the last 2-3 years more than in the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
And I think that the next 2, 3, 5 years ahead, we're going to see it evolving even faster.
Wow.
So I feel super privileged to be in a leadership role of this industry in such a great moment, and to be not only looking from outside what is happening, but being part of that evolution and that change.
Yeah. Well, as a follower of this company, I can say watch this space. And thank you so much, Alejandro, for your time today.
Thanks so much to you.
A pleasure.
Thank you.